Hi, I'm Schady and I'm an artist. I'm also Art Programme Director at Central St Martin's. As part of Tate Exchange, we ran a project called This is an Art School. What we did was we had an art school open to the general public that lasted a week with over 140 lessons that were presented by staff, students and alumni from Central St Martin's. Anyone who wanted to could join our art school for that week or a proportion of that week and take part in any of the lessons that were going on while they were there. One of the things I was very, very clear on was right from the word go was that there would not be a selection process for anybody who wanted to become a member of staff for the week, a member of the faculty and teach in this art school. So anybody who applied was given a slot. There was a lecture theatre, a life drawing room, a workshop, performance space, studio and enrolment. If as a member of the public you enrolled into the art school, then everything else you saw or took part in within that area would be within understanding of what we were trying to do. The students that did the enrolment were very witty with it. The instructions were to stand in a place, to have a photograph taken, a 3D scan of your face was then shown to you. You have to map yourself on a grid, a sort of tabulation of information that was completely absurd. And you'd go through this process, and then once you'd done it, and the whole process takes about 3 minutes, you'd enrolled. If you have 200 faculty members doing things that relate to their own practice, it's going to be very diverse, the sort of things you might take part in. The range of activities would be from making sauerkraut, print money, 3D scan an object made out of plasticine that you'd made. Members of the public taking part in a game show, and the prize was a disappointment. And the lectures would go from being, say, a conventional lecture on prehistoric stones to somebody dressed up in a white bowler suit with a white helmet, visually lecturing you on how to construct a tower of glasses and then pretend to knock it down with a golf bat. You really did see practices coming together in very interesting ways, where students who perhaps had, one might be a painter, one might be a performance artist, one might be somebody who primarily worked with video, would come together to think about what this lesson might be and how it might dynamically link to all three practices. And every morning, the space would be dynamically changed because we had to set up a whole new set of activities with a whole new set of particular problems. And that was collaboration in as much as people needed to find a place where they worked, but also that they needed to understand that their work was not seen in isolation, that their workshop would be in relation to another workshop, to a performance, to a lecture, to a dance piece, to whatever those things were. And that's where I think there was a really interesting understanding that happened between the various participants or between the various faculty members. What this afforded us was a chance to make the work, perform the work, de-install the work, everything in full view with a massive audience. And that definitely gave you a sense of heightened importance and urgency to what you were doing, and that's always very exciting. To allow yourself to become the teacher and then go back into an arts institution means you think about an arts institution very differently. You think about the teaching you're getting differently. So for all those students who taught and delivered lessons, they will have rethought through what that meant. Going back to Central St Martin's, lots of those students enthused with the atmosphere, the excitement of what went on, have gone on to set up their own events, their own activities, their own publicly viewed experiments.
He made me do it! He made me do it!
I was very worried about things that were happening in arts education quite broadly, and it seemed to me that what Tate offered was a very good platform to vocalise some of those concerns. My concern was that arts education was under threat. At primary school, we can see it being sidelined within the curriculum in favour of what are thought to be the STEM subjects. At secondary school, we can see that it's been removed from EBAC. Foundations are increasingly under threat across the country, and we know that less and less people are taking up art at GCSE and A-level. I wanted to present a vision of an art school that would be more surprising, more expansive, more arresting than perhaps audiences would expect, and to say, listen, arts education can be all of these things. It's as broad, as dynamic, as exciting, as fun, as political, as prickly, as interesting as all these activities that are going on. Current students are the ones who need to challenge what art school can be and push at the boundaries of it. And that's not to say that they tell us, the lecturers, what to do and we do it, but they challenge what we do, make us think about the challenges and the ways in which they're challenging, and we have to adapt to that challenge. One of the things I really took from it was figuring out why this thing is relevant, makes sense, and is good for everyone that takes part in the project. And you may not always get it right. This time, for whatever reason, it seemed to work. It won't always work, but at the very least, you should be thinking about those things.